What's up, everybody? My name is Key Air, and you are watching the important things that really matter. Today, we're going to be talking about why it's very important for you to get a DNA test of all of your children. Why it is very important for you to get a DNA test of all of your children. I don't care if you've been married 40 or 50 years. You need to get a DNA test of all of your children. Now, before we get into it, would you please would you please share, and would you please subscribe, because we're trying to get this channel to grow. Appreciate any help that you can give me. The information that I have on my videos can potentially save you thousands upon thousands of dollars, and also save you a whole lot of pain and suffering. So let's get into it. All right. Now, I don't care if you're 40, I don't care if you've been married for 40 years or 50 years, it is extremely important for you to get a DNA test of all of your children. Well, why is that? Well, let me tell you, first of all, before I go into it, let me say fair use, fair use, fair use. Want to go on to tell you about a particular individual. This man was married to his wife for about 40, 45 years. And for whatever particular reason, this guy had to get a DNA test on his oldest child. At this particular point in time, that he had been taking care of all of his children for many, many, many years. And so anyway, what had taken place was this guy somehow or another had to get a DNA test on his oldest child. And then the DNA test come back that he was not the father, which is extremely difficult. I know it probably darn near killed the man. He was depressed. He was messed up over the situation greatly, especially with the fact that he had probably taken care of his oldest child for at least like 30, 35 years or so. And then to come to find out that your oldest child is not yours is real messed up. So the guy was really messed up over the situation. He didn't tell his wife at first. This guy was an African-American male. He was married to an African-American female. And then he decided he wanted to go ahead and get a DNA test of his second oldest child, just to see if the first child, which wasn't his, he wanted to make sure that his second child was his. And did the first child and the second child have the same father? So basically, in a nutshell, the guy went ahead, got a DNA test on the second oldest child. When he got the DNA test on the second oldest child, the man found out that his second oldest child was not his either. Not only was the second oldest child not his either, but the first oldest child and the second oldest child didn't even have the same fathers. So both of these two children had different fathers. So anyway, this is the reason why it's extremely important to notice. The man went and confronted his wife. The wife basically in a nutshell said, so what? So what, they're yours. So what, they're yours. Which to me is, whew. I couldn't even imagine myself being in a situation like that, because so many things could happen. So many things negative that can happen, in addition to this negative thing that this man found out about both of his oldest children. So basically, in a nutshell, his wife just told him, so what? And just that response there could have caused a number of different men to fly into a rage and do all types of crazy stuff, especially if the person had been taking care of children that they thought were theirs for many, many years. Any number of negative things could happen. But anyway, this is part of the reason why I am saying it is extremely important for every man. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how many years you've been married to your wife. You need to go get a DNA test on all of your children. Now, there was another individual. This guy, he was an African-American male. He was trying to do the right thing. He had thought that he had got this particular woman pregnant. After he got her pregnant, or at least he thought he got her pregnant, the woman had a child. So this guy tried to do the right thing and move her into his house and the child into his house that he thought was his. Well, anyway, the guy, after taking care of this woman and taking care of this child for a number of years, went and got a DNA test, found out the child was not his at all, and took the DNA test. showed it to the girlfriend that he moved into his house, and the child that he had moved into his house and had been taken care of for a number of years, showed the woman that this child was not his by giving her the DNA test results. She got angry. She got pissed off about it. Why are you doing this now? Instead of saying, hey, she screwed up, she messed up. And basically, in a nutshell, the man, after he had presented her with the DNA test results, the man proceeded to tell the woman, I want you and the child out of my house, which he had every right to do that, because this person deliberately was trying to deceive him and to making him think that the child that he had been taking care of for several years and moved the mother and the child into the house because he was trying to do the right thing. Anyway, a lot of people want to lack accountability when they have been caught and stuff. So this is another reason why you need to go and get all of your children DNA tested to make sure that they are your children. Doesn't make sense to take care of children that are not yours. So anyway, there was a DNA testing center that had been interviewed either on the radio or on the television, and they thought it was extremely important to let everybody know through their DNA testing center what their findings were. And this particular DNA testing center was here somewhere in the United States. I don't know which particular DNA testing center it was. And the DNA testing center was letting everybody know that they got about 30% of the men that had one or more children by a particular woman, 30% of the men were not the father. Let me say that again. 30% of the men found that one or more of the children were not theirs. You hear me? Were not theirs. 30%. 30% is a pretty big number. Results that they got from this particular DNA testing center is a good sample number to kind of be able to determine that this number would not just be good for that particular area of the United States, but that sample number was probably good enough to be a good sample of the entire United States. About 30% of those men who've had one or more children by a woman, one or more of those children were not theirs. 30% is like 1/3. 1/3, and you can almost estimate it's like 1/3 of the country. So this is another reason why it's extremely important for men to go get a DNA test on all of your children. Not just one or two that you may be suspect, because I have seen television shows where the man had wanted to get a DNA test on a particular television show. They showed pictures of the child, and the wild thing about it was the child looked like the father. I mean, I want you to hear this very clearly. The child literally looked like the father. They went and did a DNA test on the child, and come to find out that this child that did look like the father, the child was not his child. So these are the reasons why it's extremely important for men to get DNA tests on all of your children. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you've been married for 30, 40, 50 years. Get a DNA test on all of your children so you know which children are yours and which children are not yours. And if you still are not sure, get a second DNA test to see if the children are yours or not yours, okay? This is extremely, extremely important, the information which I just gave you. And also, too, another extremely important piece of information, in addition to what the information which I've already given you, is there are at least three, I would say at least 2 or 3 television shows that have at least 20 years. 2 or 3 television shows that have at least 20 years of film footage showing ladies bringing 1, 2, 3 or more different men on the show on a regular basis for the last 20 years, trying to figure out if one of these men are the father of their child or not. Is not enough information for you or not enough encouragement for you to go get a DNA test on all of your children? I don't know what is. So anyway, Would you please like? Would you please share? And would you please subscribe? And peace.